public. We just had a few things before we started. So with that, roll call.
Tina Clayton,
Present.
Matt Martinez,
Here.
Elmer Martinez,
Here,
Kutek Bodka.
Present.
let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With that, this is a special meeting, so there's a couple items that we needed to address, and the agenda reflects that. So next item is approval of agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. And then there's something with approval of minutes, and
Yes,
Scott.
sir. So staff was reviewing the April 14th minutes, and we found a few corrections that we needed to make. So we would like for you to rescind the approval of the April 14th minutes that you approved at the last meeting. And after rescinding those, if you'll approve the new minutes for April 14th. The July 14th minutes are not available yet, so if you'll table that item.
Okay. And the minutes we're sending had errors that were substantive?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
We wanted to make sure that it was noted in there that Mr. Matt Martinez had abstained from some of the votes, and it did not reflect that, so we wanted to correct those minutes.
Thank you. With that, can I have a motion to rescind the minutes we'd previously approved?
So moved.
A motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, and then we have the corrected minutes. Is that what's
Yes,
before
sir.
us? So we have the corrected minutes. And is that the only thing that changed?
We did change, I believe it was item H and G were sort of run together, and so we got those two items separated so that they reflect what actually happened during that meeting back in April.
Okay, yes, because Mr. Griego presented on Friday's al fresco and on the Fiesta swag, so you separated those?
Yes, sir.
then?
Yeah, in the previous minutes, they were run together.
No other changes besides that?
Not that there might have been a few minor, like, a little bit of
Yes.
punctuation or something, but those were the major ones. No action was changed or anything.
Thank you. Thank you for watching over that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
we still haven't voted on the new one, right?
No.
Okay. I'm actually, now that you mentioned it, Scott, I went back and I just quickly looked at the Father's Day celebration. I think I made the motion, but I abstained on the vote, because you can.
I'm thinking not, but
Yeah.
what does it say in the minutes? I don't have a copy.
Matt Martinez made a motion to recess, second by Tina Clayton. A voice vote was taken with all voting in favor.
So that was the recess. Remember, we recessed
Oh, okay.
and staff discussed how much money sorry, I did have it. And then staff discussed how much money was needed to add into that.
So that vote was specifically for the recess.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Actually, it says that, it's correct. I'm going through the whole sentence quickly. Okay, no problem.
yeah, so
Okay, there I am.
when you move on to the next page there, it has that
Okay.
Mrs. Clayton moved to approve, and it had you abstaining.
Yeah, in fact, I've been, in the past, I know you can make a motion, but that doesn't mean you can vote for it. You don't have to vote for it at the end, and that's one of those instances.
Right.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve
There's
the
a
amendment.
Motion to approve the revised minutes for April 14th.
I second.
So second by Ms. Clayton. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Thank you. Motion passes.
And now if you'll move to table the July 14th minutes as they're not available at the present time.
Okay,
So motion to table the minutes for July 14th.
there's a motion to table the minutes for July 14th. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to table the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is public input.
I don't believe anybody signed up for public input. Let me double check that. I think we'll just have our two applicants here, so yes, sir, no one signed up. So our first item is the Las Vegas San Miguel Chamber of Commerce Route 66 celebration. We had to post the agenda 72 hours prior to the meeting, and I didn't have the application on Friday, so I was not able to put the amount of money in there, so that's why it has to be determined. And I know I have it here somewhere, guys, sorry. So we did receive the application, the revised application, and it came in at, gosh, guys, I've been running to too many meetings. Was it $20,829?
$9,879.09.
So that's the ask. I have it here now, sorry. Yes, so they revised theirs. They submitted a new writing, which you should have a new narrative, and then the new budget of their ask.
Welcome, Ms. Lister.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to present. Yes, we tabled this item at the last meeting. The board wanted some more information, and we wanted to give the chamber the opportunity to present a good application before us because there was too much information that was lacking, and we weren't getting enough information. So we didn't want to deny the application outright. We wanted to give the chamber the opportunity to revise the application and present something that we could, actually look at and make a decision on. With that, we can go forward with the presentation.
So on the original ask, we had more than one billboard. So we are just asking for one. We did have a billboard that was funded by San Miguel County Lodgers Tax. I did bring a copy of that. I failed to make copies of it for, with the application. So that's already up in Santa Rosa. So our president would like the next billboard if we get this money in Gallup. Also, he would like to be able to do advertising on social media platforms as well as radio. And to my understanding, he has collaborated with different organizations to do the Romero Hill and Las Vegas tours and the Centennial Golf Scramble. He has discussed this with the NMHU golf course. And then the car show, he is discussing that with John Ludi about doing that car show. The other ask is the gala that's on the last day. He's asking for money for the bands, which he would like Wild Country and 45. I believe he said Wild Country is available. We're not sure about 45. And that would be a ticketed event, the gala at the Castaneda. The Los Alamos, I believe, I'm actually not sure if that is, what's the word? Definite, but they are supposed to donate the meal for that, so then we would make money off of that. And then print design shirts and a guide. The estimate that was received, $1,812. I don't remember what other questions you all had. If you have any other questions, then I can try to answer them.
Where is the gala, where,
The gala would be at the Castaneda.
the where?
At the Castaneda?
And the event is scheduled for Labor Day weekend, correct?
It's September 4th through the 7th. The reception, which is in Romeroville, is September 4th. There would be a symposium on September 5th. The car show would be September 5th, and then the gala September 5th. So I believe that he has secured the parking lot at the train station for the car show on September 5th, and then the Castaneda on September 5th as well. I believe he already filled out an event permit.
I don't know. That would be Mr. Griego.
Mr. Chair, and maybe you can help us, Scott. The Main Street event is the same weekend?
No, sir. The Main Street event, the People's Festival is at the
Yeah.
end of September.
Okay, not
This is the
same.
beginning. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Mr. Chair, I don't know, I know we heard about this early on, but nothing had, materialized, I guess, in the form of an application to here recently. I actually thought that all the events for Route 66 had already been sort of, earmarked and highlighted along the route, all the way from Tucumcari to Gallup. So I was shocked that we're, doing this. I don't know, we asked at the last meeting, actually, we asked CCHP and we asked Lawrence, and he didn't know anything about what his piece was going to be. I don't know, it looks like, the idea, I think, is very good, but I think what's happening is it's coming up too quick. And I don't know if the spend of all those dollars is going to be able to recap what we hope would bring people that would stay here, overnight. It's 4 days altogether that they're looking at doing this event. I don't know, I think it's too late. I actually thought that this summer was the highlight of the Route 66 stuff. And I guess it'll be 100 years all the way through next year. So, and I'm sure it's not gonna be cost effective to do it in January or February because it's too cold to do anything. But I really think this event is too late, personally.
Comments?
Sure. Look, we've heard about it coming up more than once. I think from the past year and so on, but we didn't really hear the details of any event. But I think each time it was mentioned that we were going to have to be really vigilant, getting the message out that Las Vegas is even part of Route 66. That was the question, and so we were going to need to make a lot of noise early on, just so because I'm even looking at the map now. So a lot of people that are flying Route 66, I mean, I don't think they even know that Las Vegas is or in this case from Romeroville, part of Route 66. So I think it was going to take a lot of advertising ahead of time, and it's having a billboard that's pretty expensive for a short amount of time is not going to be something that's going to be effective to get all that done. It just needed to be done earlier. And I understand we're having a gala in town and bringing bands, but is that a celebration of Route 66, or are we just having another party in town? So those are some of my concerns here as far as not having concrete things on the actual event itself, and whether we're just trying to make an event to make an event at this point, and it's really not capitalizing on the celebration of Route 66.
Any other comments? Ms. Clayton? No?
I agree that it's coming really quickly and you would have to work really fast to get the word out. But keep in mind that for some of the things that you're asking here, the board is not able to approve, such as bands. We're here to pay for advertising.
Mr. Chair, if I may. I think sort of off of what Mrs. Clayton is talking about is during Fiesta, we do pay for bands, but they're free. So it's a free concert that's promoting the event. And I think you said this was gonna be a ticketed event. So anyone who comes can't get in there without buying a ticket. Where Fiesta, the bands are promoting and that's part of the promotion, that it's a free event. So I think that's what you were trying to point out is the difference.
Thanks for explaining that.
Thank you.
And so I looked through a lot of the old emails and different things, and I did find something, actually it was February, because I was trying to catch myself up on different things that had been going on, and it looked like a bunch of groups had gotten together, which I was not actually aware of till I read the email. Las Vegas first, and then it had the city, the county, and they were trying to get, I guess, the route, because there's a committee through the state legislature to come this way, and they did reject that, is my understanding of that. So I think that was also the idea of trying to bring people here. The Route 66 committee did reject it, but I know that there was an effort in February that they tried to do it. Just,
Committee rejected it?
that was my understanding, because I came across an old email and it had different organizations listed. And I mean, I was not aware of that happening, within the city. But when I asked someone, they said that the Route 66 did reject it, that it does go through Romeroville, but they were not willing to bring it here. So this was part of the effort of that group to bring it here, which I was not at those meetings either. So that's just what I saw as their effort.
So is that committee part of the statewide effort?
No, it was a local committee. Actually, the person on the email that had signed it and sent it on the behalf of the city, the county, Main Street, Las Vegas First, I can't remember who else was on there, was Susan Saidi.
Yes, and I recall Ms. Seides several months back talking about, I think she may even signed up for public input, not sure. But I know I talked to her at one of these meetings about Route 66, and I know that she was pushing it. But we never saw anything come to fruition until this application.
So just to be clear for me, the Route 66 committee is from where?
I believe,
Las Vegas or from Albuquerque? Or from
I believe the state legislature.
state legislature?
Because when I was previously with the chamber, about 4 years ago, I had a colleague at the Grants Film Office, and she was a part of that committee at that time. And so she had sent me like the legislative bill on it, because she wanted us to be involved, but they hadn't started having planning meetings until this, I think, last year. But I was not a part of those.
So to this point, the Route 66 committee that's part of the legislature has still rejected the proposal.
Not this proposal, but for it to come to Las Vegas. So this effort was to,
That's what I'm
yeah.
asking. For it to come to Las
Yes.
Vegas,
That's what I was
they
told.
still have not said, we changed our mind.
Right.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I still think it was a very good idea. I just think it's too late. And I think, I don't know how many resources you're gonna need to put on all these events. And then, I know at the end of the day, the chamber has to front all of these dollars first and then get reimbursed. That's the process. So that's a thing that I think is a little bit of a challenge. I don't know what the resources are, financial resources are at the chamber. I haven't kept up with that in a few years. But I just think this is an event that's too close to the date, and we won't be able to promote it enough. And at the end of the day, I don't know how a person would estimate how many people would be coming into our town, and more importantly, how many would stay. I mean, I think that's, at the end of the day, that's the whole idea of lodger's tax, to market the town so that we have people not only stay at hotels, but eat at our restaurants, put gas in their cars, and shop and do the things that a tourist or somebody from another community in the state would do coming to this event. So I really think it's a good idea. I just think we're getting it way too late. We're less now than almost 2 months away? Less than 2 months away.
I think for this event would have been cool, to use that word.
I know that there's some classic car tours that are going from throughout the route of Route 66. There's tours of classic cars that are going in caravans. It would have been cool to tie in one of those caravans and bring them up through the Anton Chico and up 84 and into Romeroville, tie it into an event here in Las Vegas, and then on to Santa Fe. Maybe Santa Fe would want to piggyback on it, in light of the fact that the committee rejected it, but to have been able to tie into one of those tours probably would have been the key thing, because then you would have had a car show of cars that aren't usually here in the area or the region, but you actually get the two cars that have been touring nationally. Because that's what I've been seeing on TV and seeing on, and looking at events that have been happening, is you've got these national tours that are going through.
to tie into one of those would have been appropriate. There may be something else coming up. I mean, you're saying it's still going on for 100, till when?
Oh, yeah, it'll be 100 years all the way to next year. Mr. Chair, I think you hit the nail on the head. I subscribe to a lot of the car magazines. And the Great American Race, which are older cars from a certain year back, already went through. So that would have been a great one to have come through here and do stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, and then I don't know if it's been discussed, but at least I heard it somewhere. So part of this event would have included something outside our city limits, right?
Yes.
So if that's the case, well, we can't do that, right? At least have anything to do with that specific piece on its own,
Can't
right?
fund it, we can't fund it.
So I don't know, that's just my thinking, I think this was a great idea. I think we should have just, figured a way to get it tied in. I don't know what the resources are at the chamber, but, whatever this ask would be for, you'd have to pay for it first and then come back for reimbursement. So, that's not up to our board to make that decision just with that information, but nonetheless, I think it's too late. And it's unfortunate, people might say, well, what's wrong with you? Your station might even get some radio dollars. Yeah, but I still think at the end of the day, is it gonna be a successful event? There's only so much we can do, advertising something, so. Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, I'd like to make a motion that we, not table this, but reject it, because I think it's a good idea, too late.
Motion to deny the application or reject the application? It's out to language. Motion to reject the application, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Bacta. Voice vote.
I think you ought to do a roll call.
Okay.
How about that? Tina Clayton,
Deny.
Matt Martinez,
Yes.
Ritek Patka,
I'm confused. The motion was to
deny.
so yeah, yes.
Yes, sir.
He said yes.
Okay. Elmer Martinez,
Yes, motion to reject, we need to reject.
Scott, just for all clarity, Ms. Clayton, she did, it's a yes to deny?
Yes to deny.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what I was
Just wanted to
just
make
trying
sure.
clarify.
Yes, so motion passes.
that was a
Application has
yes.
been rejected or denied.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time and effort.
Okay, so next item on the agenda is the People's Festival of Art and Culture. When this came before you last week, it was a 3-day event. And Mr. Rogers has resubmitted with it being a 1-day event from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m.
So, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Scott, when I got the new email, it still says June 29th on the top. Are they both, the old one and the new one, the same date?
Yes, sir. I
They
just
are.
didn't change it.
That's off, okay.
That's me, yeah.
Okay, the one that has the highlighted red is the new one, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was gonna get my, what do you call it, my highlighter, and I said, no, it's already highlighted. But I didn't know which one was which, because it had the same date on it.
Yeah, when I get to doing, I was just revising it and I forgot to change the date for it. Sorry.
So what would we put the date, today's date, or yesterday?
Probably sent this to you yesterday or day before, so.
Sent that to us yesterday. Okay.
Okay. I know I sent the chambers yesterday, but I thought I sent Mr. Rogers the day before, but.
I'm just making sure I have the right one. So June 29th is the wrong date then?
Yeah, when I revised it, it would have been, today's the 21st, it would have been on the 19th.
Okay.
You sent it to me, wasn't it, David?
So I'm looking at the right one then.
Monday, yes.
It would have been July 19th.
All right.
20th.
You're right. Thank you.
Mr. Rogers?
Chair, board. So what you have in front of you now is a response to your good feedback last week. I went back to Robin Beaubien, the Main Street, New Mexico marketing consultant, and gave her your feedback, and we worked on kind of paring down some of the print and making sure there's a lot of social media and local radio and print, and yet some print elsewhere out into the regions that have tended to come to the People's Fair in the past, in Lubbock and Colorado, and so we, in doing that paring down, we reduced the spend by some amount, and we're able to find some money which will be able to be used for a professional person to effort that plan. And I have actually found that person, and her name is Leota Harriman. She is the former publisher of The Optic and his own newspapers, and she is also an Arts Council board member. And she's agreed to take that on, and 'cause she's the one person here in town that I know for sure can take that on and do it very professionally and very, very efficiently. The placing of the ads, the designing of the ads, and the social media as well. And there is, the People's Festival of Art and Culture is on Saturday, the 26th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are also in the process of planning and we're still sort of searching for the exact thing we're going to do, but another event on Friday evening on Railroad, probably in conjunction with Castaneda, kind of a block party, dance, different stuff going on for people who can come in the day before, the evening before on Friday, and then stay through Saturday, maybe even leave on Sunday. It will be sort of a hitchhiker event on the People's Festival, not directly associated with it, but in conjunction with it, and it'll be something that we'll pitch both of those in all of the marketing. Come on Friday, have the party, stay for Saturday for the People's Fair, and have breakfast on Sunday and go on your way.
Tell us a little bit more about that
About which?
Friday thing.
Well, what we're hoping is kind of a block party down there, right on Railroad, in the same place where the event is going to happen the next morning, the next day. A band, some, dancing, a typical kind of a block party, and using Castaneda as sort of a base for it. And we're still in the process of figuring that one out, but it's planned to have that evening as a sort of,
Fresco, we don't anymore, do we?
Yes, sir.
is it at the end of September? Is it? Okay, good.
It goes all the way to September. Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
can I ask what, under your breakdown on page 2, you have digital, print, radio, contractor. What's contractor?
That's the person I was just describing to you, Leota Harriman, the person that's going to do the ad creation placement for the whole market, for the whole plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The digital creator.
I don't know, you'll have to enlighten me, Scott and Crew Tech, because you guys have been here for a while. Didn't we have that type of thing come up before, that we didn't pay for the contractor that did the actual work? Because in most cases, it was somebody already within the organization, I guess, like a newspaper or magazine. So I don't know if we've ever done that before. Does that sound like something we've paid for before?
Yes, sir.
No? Oh, okay. I just couldn't remember. I know we've gone through a lot of applications. So pretty much all you're looking at is marketing.
Correct.
Okay. And all of the other expenses would be taken care of by the organization.
Correct. The production costs are there just, and the revenue are there for your information.
Yeah, so this was, and the original application, you guys had all that breakdown, logistics, entertainment, and all that stuff, and then you also had the revenue. So none of that applies to the new updated version of the request. You're not
Which-
asking for that?
No,
anything
no,
that
that's
had to do
purely
with the
for your
rest?
information, just so
Okay.
you see that we're actually, moving through on this already, so.
Do you have an idea what your ads will be targeting, what your target markets will be?
Towns, or the locations? Yeah, it's on,
I saw the locations,
Yeah.
but in terms of, who are you trying to?
the audience, right.
What audience are you trying?
People that, travelers, people that are going to be making plans in September to do something in the fall, a weekend, people, maybe sort of looking for something, and they will continue to see these, notices for the People's Fair. And we've advertised, I think, in the past, occasionally out there in Lubbock and, Colorado Springs and Trinidad and Raton, and people have come from there. We want to use the technology that you have with the cell phone tracking thing, to be able to track the numbers of people or where they're from, the technology the city's been using. If we can, that would be great. Yeah, because it would be a lot more convenient than, questionnaires for everybody that walks through or something.
Questionnaires are good, though.
Yeah,
'Cause that way you can find out where they found out about it.
right.
I know that you can't get that far, maybe you can. But this would be a good event to really anchor and turn it into, I think you have the Indian market coming up in Santa Fe, which is huge. Then you have the Spanish market in Santa Fe, those kinds of markets, and this is the People's Fair, and you're expanding it to a more cultural thing. So I'm just wondering how your advertising will, if it'll look into that kind of, attracting that kind of participation.
Right, that's sort of that demographic, that audience, the people that would come to this, how do we find them? Basically what you want.
Because then your Friday event makes sense, especially if you start saying that, hey, we've got this happening we've got Fridays al Fresco in the park, we've got this at the Castaneda,
Mhm.
and you've got the entertainment district that the city's created on Bridge Street, so that it starts to become a weekend event.
Right.
Because you part it down from 3 days to 1 day, that piqued my interest, like, hey, that doesn't put heads in beds. I
Right.
don't like to use
It doesn't bring us that, but when you told me the Friday stuff, that starts to give us a little bit more hope.
Yeah.
Right, and I mean, if there's Fridays al fresco on that day, the 26th of September?
Last,
Well, that's Friday, oh yeah, the 25th, right. So that's the last one.
that's the last one on.
Okay. Is that Tropicales?
Not sure.
Anyway, sorry. That's even better because we can then create and market that and what we do down on Railroad and maybe something else in between and begin that culture trail between the plaza and the Railroad District that day.
Back a few years ago, what the board used to fund, a few years ago, we get an application, let's say, like Hillfield Auditorium would say, I'm going to bring this signature band, I'm going to bring War, I'm going to bring Blue Oyster Cult. But I'm selling, and I'm going to do it on Valentine's Day. That's what they would tell us. And then they would say, we're going to sell sweetheart
packages. We're gonna sell sweetheart packages, which mean that basically Heidi's University went and talked to the hotels and with restaurants and would sell a package along with the event, with the actual concert, so that here's the whole package that you bring. A couple could come up to Las Vegas and say, hey, there's a sweetheart package, you want me to take you up there? I think that's where we'd like to get at some point in time, where you're really coordinating with events that are happening and resources that we have in the community to bundle those things together to make it an overnight or two-night event. And we just I haven't really been seeing those in some of the applications, seeing that kind of thinking. I don't know if you recall any of that.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, just to attach things so they would work with each other.
Right,
And we have a train, we have a train that comes up. And if you're marketing something like that, hey, take a ride up on the train, we've got this event. But if you come up on Friday, we've got these things and these things that you can do here. I mean, we're gonna have the electric light parade this winter, and and we've done all this thing on the Riverwalk. There's a whole package you could do for Christmas. And we're not seeing applications like that. And that's something that I think would benefit the community and something that we'd want to fund. So,
Mr. Chair.
yes, sir.
When you were mentioning bringing in the audience participants to come to the People's event, I think there's also, how do we attract more vendors?
yes.
Those type of things. And actually, if there's an event already this weekend, you gotta start now. You better start some flyers right away and head out there for the weekend. Because some of those may wanna come to our community, but I don't know, you guys are gonna be selling the booth spaces?
Yes.
Is that the idea? Okay.
Right, yeah.
So once that's done, how many do you anticipate to have in total?
Vendors?
Yeah,
Well, historically, when it was in the park, we had 75 or 80.
okay.
And that filled the park. And then we had maybe 10 or 12 nonprofits on top of that. And they get a reduced rate, half price, or this time it's going to be free if they bring some kind of a children's family activity, kind of creative activity to do. And they're going to go up on the parkade of the Castaneda. So it'll be kind of nice and shady up there. And Casty's going to participate with some food things and different things because they really are anxious to get the word out about their place being open too. So, yeah, the bundling element is really a tremendous idea, and that gives us the opportunity with the al fresco to create something like that. And, we can work with the Castaneda and the Plaza and with your lodging as well. And that would be, I think, a great sort of extra value that one event can offer because there's other things going on, and then we'll do one, and on the Friday, and people can have breakfast specials on Sunday and keep them here all weekend.
There's no lodgers association yet, right? But if there was lodge association, the association, they could come up with a discount for certain events. And that could be advertised, in the advertisement, the discounts could be put in there. So somebody says, I'm gonna run an event, and they pull out a discount certificate, or discount code, or discount QR code. And there you go. We're not funding any particular hotel, but we're saying the association has set this up for these hotels that they wanna participate.
It'd also be a way to count the amount of people staying. You'll be able to track.
Right.
Well, I mean, for the hotel, it'd be incentive. Hey, this many people made a reservation with this discount code. And that's easy information for me to provide, at least on my end. I mean, for this event, look, we want to market all of them, but we're always, when we're here with the board, we're always trying to fit what the budget they presented to us to ask the 25 they've asked to us, and whether that's, on some of it, what, for where the event is right now and the reset of whether that's, I think it certainly should be advertised, but should it be advertised a month out at $25,000 is what's going through my head. It's now a one-day event. So I'm just wondering if there's a middle ground, or if we just have to outright reject the whole ask, or if there's a middle ground of, okay, it's a one-day event now. Can this budget be revised to where this event is at? We're still advertising for it, but not for maybe the original ask that they had in mind.
Yeah, the
Advertising ask is 20,000.
Yeah.
The 5,000 is total, 5,000 for contractors out. I mean, we can't fund that.
Right, for the valid items, I was thinking of just the portion that was the pure ad buys. I think we already cited some of the ones that we couldn't.
right.
Yeah, the board can.
I wanted to add, Mr. Chair, I think the whole idea of trying to get, even if it's a small Friday event, on the agenda or the schedule, and then have the Saturday event. But can you just, just very briefly, just outline in your mind, if all of what you guys are planning, could you go Friday this time, Saturday this, and this? Just a sort of a quick and rough schedule on what you guys are planning.
Yeah, so Friday would be down on the Railroad District, some sort of a public block party type of an event that would start early evening, 5 o'clock probably, some food trucks, and then of course the Castaneda and Buffalo Hall and Tea and Empathy open for that as well. And a lot of people walking around, and then a stage in the parking lot in front of the train station, or in the backyard, so to speak, of the Castaneda, one or the other. And just a dance with a really good band, something like Felix and the Felix y los Gatos, or not quite War, although that'd be fantastic. But and then and that's just what it is. And to get people there walking around in the evening, and maybe some cars out on Lincoln, that some of the guys that have the cool cars can bring and park along the street for people to walk and look at. Sort of things that will give visitors a good sense of kind of who this place is, who we are, what the culture here is, and be able to see some things that they wouldn't normally see where they live. Like some really great lowriders, or we would have Nat Gold players. Part of the grant helped them do a little work in their theater so that they could get closer to opening. And so in exchange for that, they're going to be doing sort of anachronistic portrayals of historical people who are from here. They've done that before, and they just kind of walk around and interact, and there's an opportunity for a tour as well maybe during the day on Saturday for people that have come to the thing. You know, they're not going to spend all day there, so they want other things to do on Saturday as well. But, yeah, so we'll have the Nat Gold players doing that, and, you know, maybe a wandering mariachi or something, and you know, it's kind of fun, cool things, and that will give visitors an opportunity to just really sort of get a good taste of the flavor of this town as we know it. Saturday, we'll be starting the setup 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'll have capacity for up to 100 vendors because it's a larger space than the park. You know, we can work down Jackson to the south, or I mean down Railroad toward Jackson to the south there, as well as Lincoln, and in the parking lot and of the train station and on Railroad up until where the parking lot is, the entrance for the Castaneda. That'll be blocked on the other side of their entrance so that people can come and go out of the Castaneda. And set up and we'll have a lot of volunteers. Typically, we've gotten volunteers from athletic teams, Highlands and the high schools. They all have community service requirements, and they're very helpful, helping people load, get their stuff unloaded and carried to their spot, and helping them set up even sometimes. So that'll be going on, and then open at 10. I think we're aiming for 3 food trucks because we don't want to fill the place with food trucks because there's places that serve food there too, that are businesses. But just little different things. And in the parking lot where Marvin's, the big wall is, we'll have a tent top and tables and chairs for maybe 40 people to sit kind of in the shade, and have the stage there for the music that will be going on. It'll be more local type stuff like we've had always in the park. And then, so that'll be going on all day. And I hope we can branch out beyond music a little bit and do some literature, some poetry reading. We have a lot of amazing poets in this town, young and old. And, in between the music, do some of that kind of stuff, some literary performances. And then it'll be done at 5 p.m. And everybody will break down and go on their way, the vendors.
So, Mr. Chair, the Friday event would be on the street, and the street would be blocked off?
Yes,
And the same thing would happen for Saturday?
Yes.
The whole time, the whole area would be,
right.
you'd be able to still get in through Lincoln, maybe, to get to the Castaneda if you had to?
Well,
or
how it's
Raynico?
we already met with Chuck Griego about this and have the application in for it and the insurance and all that. And so we talked to him about logistics of that. And what we'll do is block Railroad off where you're coming south on Railroad from Douglas, where the Castaneda parking lot entrance is. Right from the south edge of that, Railroad will be blocked, but people will be able to come and go in and out of the Castaneda parking lot.
Through Lincoln,
Yeah, no, not to Lincoln.
through Lincoln.
No,
Not through there?
no, because Lincoln is linked to the train station parking lot, and they're separated by that fence.
Oh, so they're coming through Douglas.
Yes,
That's the only way they can get in.
yes,
People that want to go to Castaneda.
Yes.
Not do the fair.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be the egress for the Casti is Douglas. And then Lincoln will be blocked from Railroad just up to the alley, so only halfway to Main Street. And so that the alley can be used for people to go back and forth and get in and out from back where they live or whatever, if they need to. And then Jackson will block off further down, or Railroad would be blocked off further down to Jackson, or maybe a little ways up as we need, so that'll be where the food trucks are. They'll be on the P&M side of the street, because they'll have generators, and it'll be too noisy, so, that noise can go back up against the P&M building and not into the buildings. That, like, Reruns on Railroad is right there, and Marvin's building is right there, and there'll be things going on there, so. Within there, I think Reruns is going to do a little pop-up. They've been doing pop-up craft things and have it available for our volunteers to go in and take a break. And we'll have T-shirts for all the volunteers. And the good news for this is that we've done this. This is year 45. So basically, we're picking up everything that we've done in the park for 40 years and taking it to Railroad, and that'll be the same, a little bigger, hopefully, but no smaller. And then we'll add some, you add the terrain, you add the Castaneda, you add some other, the businesses that are open along there as well, and it's kind of more of a interactive, unique experience than just kind of being in the park.
Okay, thank you. You may be able to use some more vendor space on Lincoln if you close it at the alley.
Yes, and Lincoln will have, yeah, right. So the vendors will be restrooms will be over on the south side of the train station.
Right.
And then vendors will be in front of the train station. There'll be booths right in front, all the way around in that little side parking lot and back around, and then some in the middle, in the big parking lot. And that will be, it won't have to be blocked off because it'll be blocked off on Railroad at the Casti, and then it'll be blocked off on the other end going toward Jackson somewhere. And then Lincoln will be blocked at the alley, on the east side of the alley.
In between there and Railroad, you still have vendor space.
Yes, yeah, on Lincoln, both sides of the street, yeah, and maybe in the middle, we'll see how it fits, but yeah.
So I have a question in regards to parking.
Mm.
Where are you envisioning that people will be able to park? Because let me just say something, if you leave the alleyway before you get to Grand Avenue on Lincoln, everybody will be parking on private property because it already happens every weekend.
Oh, okay, well, I didn't know that, but yeah, we'll,
Buffalo.
Yes, and so they just park in everybody's private property.
oh, wow. Okay, well, I'll talk to Chuck about that and make sure that doesn't happen,
An
however we have to do
opportunity
that.
People will set up parking fees.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, we have a question about the train station. How will people get to and from Amtrak?
They've set it up. I
Thought about that? The way
He's
he's,
described it, they're going to enter into the Castaneda parking lot. You can access the depot through that parking lot.
He said they were going to close that entrance to the depot off from the Castaneda,
you're gonna
and they were
close
going to utilize the train station parking lot.
For vendors.
So
Yeah.
how will people get to,
They'll park in the Castaneda parking lot.
so they can leave it there for a week?
I'm sure we can make that happen with Dennison and Ned.
I think they
If
can,
they leave the parking lot for the Castaneda open where he said, they can go around and then, as long as they don't close off at the depot.
They have directional signs, because we get people who come from Roy or from,
Right.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, we have signage, a lot of signage, that's in the budget. We already have a lot of signs that we've just been using in the park, to go here and go there and
train
the other.
station this way,
Yeah, we can make new ones that say these things, yeah, for sure.
because we don't want to hamper our incoming visitors on the train or our outgoing.
We described it, you can access the depot through the Castaneda.
As long as people know that. 'Cause like I said, we get people from Amarillo who come and catch this train. If they're not familiar with Las Vegas, they're not gonna know they can go through the Castaneda to get to the train station.
Yeah, there'll have to be some
Because
signs.
MapQuest or Google or whoever is not gonna show them that route. So I'm just concerned about that. We don't want someone to miss their train because they didn't know where to park or how to get there, and will there be parking for them at the train station?
yeah.
Are you gonna have some people help guiding, since this is new? You're gonna have some people help direct and like that?
Right, some human wayfinders.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. And, they'll identify with the volunteer T-shirt, ask me, kind of a thing, ask me what you need to know. And, that's a very valid thing. It hadn't occurred to me, but yes. And so we'll work with Chuck on that and make sure that if we need to have someone stationed somewhere, if you're in the train, go here, kind of a thing, then we can do that.
We need to make sure there are parking spaces available for
Right.
them too.
Yes, exactly. And in terms of other parking, one of the things we're going to do is work with the trolley and see if they'll establish a route between the big lot across from Dick's. And people can park there and then hop on the trolley and just ride right down. Or we can even get them track all the way up to the plaza and back down and do that whole run. And people could park where they need to. And Friday night too, we could do that. So that they can go from the plaza easily and not have to walk all that way back and forth, but take the trolley around. Yeah.
Good idea.
Mr. Chair, I'm sort of following a little bit on Crew Tech's question earlier about, you had a 3-day event for this amount of money, now we have a 1-day event for this amount of money. And then I go back and look, and I have a question. I don't see the local paper here.
Yeah, I know, I saw that too. It's definitely gonna be there, as is a local radio. And, if we have to juggle some of the out-of-town spending, that's not an issue, or if we don't have to. I mean, the good news is that, the grant is well-funded, and so that we have the resources to spend up front for what, we're asking for repayment on.
And then I'm looking at social media, that's, those, at least both the 3,000 and the 3,500, that seems extremely high. We don't sell social media, or anything like that, but those numbers are pretty high. I guess following Crew Tech's question, I guess, is there a way to do the event with, let's say, half of the marketing?
Those were,
Well, we probably would want to do it with as much as we can and can afford. In terms of your decision, we're able to be flexible because, the funding is pretty solid and we've kind of got the budget laid out and so that we know what we're doing with that. And this, again, is just, it's part of the full grant, Creative Economy grant that Main Street received, so,
I guess as a marketer myself, I'm looking at, probably a little bit of Albuquerque and Santa Fe newspaper. I don't know about Amarillo, Lubbock, Clovis, Canyon Air Force Base. Trinidad, Raton, I think are those people I think already sort of know about this event. That might work out, and then for sure the local. I'm just, and then social media, that seems really expensive, but I'm not too sure how many things they were planning to do with that. But I'm thinking, what we want for this event to be is successful. And if this is the seed money we need to put in to get it going this first year with the new location and the reset, I guess, what you all call it, maybe for next year we'll be able to help a little bit more. But I think now, let's see how we can help to get this event. Let's see what kind of people end up coming and staying. I think the chairman's correct. When you mentioned some kind of a Friday event, that gives the people the opportunity to make an overnight stay and possibly even 2 nights. And I think that's the idea. And then maybe, like the chairman said, there's some other things we can tie things into. This is an event that has been successful for many years. We're just changing location and we're resetting it a little bit different. I think the location's outstanding, especially after all the improvements that have been done there. I think that's a perfect thing. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know, Crew Tech, I'll go off of your lead, but I'm thinking, how can we make this successful enough? And let's get this thing going for the year and help in as many areas as we can. And make sure that we get you guys up and running so that this can become a continuous event. I can see us doing this for years to come, and then every year helping to get a larger net.
Right, the plan.
And then also probably get some of the vendors themselves too, If you think you'll have 75 to 80 or 70 to 80 and your capacity is 100, well, we want you to get there. And I hope you understand where we're coming from. We're
Absolutely.
a marketing thing,
Right.
entity here. But I don't know, I'll go off of Crew Tech's lead if he has a suggestion.
yeah, I mean, that's exactly my suggestion. I mean, we wanna be able to, it's a good event, it's been running, we wanna seed it, but we wanna be at the right spot, right? So it is a 1-day event. We're not necessarily positioned to have a lot of hotel rooms. So from our end, we're saying, hey, what's the right fit for where the event is at? And yeah, we'd certainly like to grow it, and then we could keep growing it. at this point, again, that's why I'm kind of frustrated, we're just trying to fit things around an original ask when really the event's been revised. To me, for the strategy you have and where it's going, I think Matt's right, going, maybe east or, going Amarillo or so on, maybe a little bit of a stretch right now, focusing on north-south corridor. I mean, half the money would get you there, especially, again, I'm just gonna be a big old stickler of advertising our events well ahead of time. Throwing a bunch of money within the last month's events, I'm just bothered by. So for me personally, I feel much more comfortable, funding events that plan out well at a time. You could span those advertisements out well at a time so it gets into people's heads versus the shotgun. So to me, from the original ask to what's being presented now, to me, it's closer to 10,000 level, which you could still do plenty of all the things if you make adjustments to each line item here, especially print. Print's expensive. So I know there's people out there for so on that want to get it, but even for that, for print, you want it to kind of have some longer runs and so on, but you print it out and you put it out, unless it's something that somebody was gonna hang on to year after year of, hey, I remember I saved this, so on from that year, and it's memorabilia, then that continues to be promotional. But I think this event could still be within, July 22nd, be well promoted for
Yeah, it's 2 months out still, basically.
for 2 months out for half of that ask. So to me, I'm closer to the area of 10,000-12,000 within of that ask.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair, may I ask just a couple questions? And one doesn't really pertain to Lodgers Tax Board, but you've got 3 food trucks. Have you had food trucks in the past?
Yes.
Are their prices reasonable?
Yes.
Because I can tell you the biggest complaint that I've heard is at Fiesta, the prices were outrageous.
Yeah, right.
So if this is gonna be a family-friendly thing and you're
Right.
wanting the family to bring their children,
And eat,
you
drink.
make sure that those
Yes.
guys are reasonable.
And I'm
And
sorry.
it's something that, and along those lines, foods that aren't readily available around town.
Yeah.
I mean, when we did, kind of talk about motorcycle rally, when we did,
Motorcycle rally, we had, I think, 3 food vendors. And they brought stuff that wasn't readily available in town. Turkey legs, barbecue, there's barbecue in town now today, and stuff, it was like that. But we told the local businesses, be ready, because there's gonna be a lot of hungry people, and we're only bringing a few vendors in. They also kept their prices down because they didn't have competition. In Fiestas, if you go there, the competition is crazy because, you've got so many vendors and they gotta make up their vendor fees and their travel fees and their housing fees and everything else, plus labor and food costs.
Right.
So their costs are really
I
high.
know they have to make money, but we just need to make sure that a family doesn't walk in there and spend everything they had to just eat and have to go home. So that's just my thoughts, and I've heard that from community members. My second question would be that you are asking this board to fund money for printing posters, but you are selling posters. So are you asking them to pay for the posters you're gonna sell?
I know. I think the posters that are in that marketing budget are sort of the little flyer things that, you see taped up on windows and that sort of stuff. It's, the posters are indeed, gonna be, like the, well, it's Fiestas. The Arts Council used to have a poster contest, creating contest, and then the winner was always really a very extraordinary piece of art, big poster kind of posters, and people collect those, and and it was a great fundraiser for the
well, you're talking
Arts Council.
flyers. When you say posters,
that in that budget you're talking flyers.
Because it says posters, cards, and flyers.
Oh,
That's why I was.
or maybe it's just bigger advertising posters, but it wouldn't be the ones that would be the collectible ones. That's a whole different.
Make sure.
Yeah, no, because I know what you're asking. That's right.
So may I also, yes, when you decide what amount you're gonna give, will you let me know what items those are gonna be applied to? Because when I write the contracts, I have to be specific. so that when people turn in receipts, if they're not things that were approved, I have to know that. So, since you're cutting this, you're not approving what's printed here.
Right.
Is all I'm asking.
And Mr. Chair, I think the easiest way to do it, especially if we're reducing it, is just because it's less for the ask. So then we could just ask for it to be the exact items that we're comfortable approving, so we can, we don't have to deal with posters or anything that would be on their end. So we could, approve an amount for exactly ad buys, and he's got plenty of ad buys there between newspaper, social media, and radio. Those are there, so we can specify that they're specifically for ad buys, and it keeps it clean. Then the organization can figure out how to cover the rest, within their things. But this makes it clean for us that, hey, within this much money, these are just clean ad buys, so we're not talking about posters and everything else.
You comfortable with that?
I think so. So I think I understand what you're saying is, it would be all ad buys, but we would take out the printing, and it would be
Yeah.
half of the ad buys, or up to 10,000 or whatever you're.
Right.
Okay. So no on the printing. And everything on ad buys, whatever amount y'all agree to.
Anything else?
I guess I move that we approve 10,000 for marketing,
So
as
motion,
stated by the previous discussion.
motion to approve $10,000 for ad buys.
I'll second.
Is a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Do you want a roll call?
Tina Clayton,
Yes,
Matt Martinez.
Yes, I know my name's, our company's stated here, but I haven't given an estimate, so this is new to me till today, so.
So you're not abstaining on
I'm
this
not,
vote?
I'm voting yes,
You're
yes.
voting yes. Okay, Kurtek Matka
Yes.
and Elmer Martinez.
Yes.
Thank you very much. It's very appreciated.
The grant that we received, the Creative Economy Grant, is actually, it was pitched to us as a pilot grant, right? So this is kind of what you're doing here with this. It's like, here, take this amount and do what you can with it, and we'll see next year, and so we will.
See about packaging several days into it.
Y-
Future.
Yes,
Even this one.
yeah, I think we can do some things with this
Yeah.
one in that way.
If you can, as we don't, but then we've also we've made that suggestion, and it was a forced thing, so it has to be, before you come, it has to be built out. We want stuff,
Right.
but it's not just, hey, we wanna do 3 days, and we could do this, we could do that, we could do this, but it's not,
Yeah.
fleshed out, right? So if it's heavily fleshed out, and maybe it just starts with that Friday that you're doing, goes a little bit later. I know this is a family thing, but if you have something closer there, so you kind of given it even that one day, that Friday, a reason to stay.
Yeah,
Even beyond the events for the next day or so on, but it just kind of giving them more reason to do that. And then it kind of takes it beyond the vendors as well, because now they're thinking about restaurants and so on. They may decide, for the restaurants, for in town, be part of, the side of the vendors and so on, be part of the event. And that's probably how you could count it too. So if they're involved, hey, bring this coupon in from the People's Fair, I don't know, you get appetizers or so on.
Mhm.
In the past, that kind of, marketing's been done, with the other, establishments in town, and maybe you have some of those visitors, heading to other spots in town.
yeah. Yeah, I'm big on collaboration.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and
But,
taking one thing and turning it, into something really special.
We've been talking about, a lot of incubators, that the trouble has always been, to figure out whether that event has grown. I think we've started with them, that at least you come back and present and let us know, but, in any way you can, you come up with metrics of what did happen, and necessarily if it didn't turn into heads and beds, what can be,
How can we do it?
done with what's here, and hopefully
Scott can give you I'm hoping we can do more and more with that, but whether it's pings or not, on what's really available, because if we get surprised with some of that, even for a smaller event, it's useful information that the events could use.
So I'll have
And
to-
that helps us make
have to
better
create the map.
decisions for next year's event, to justify more funding. But also, while you're doing this, thinking about next year, and then coming in January saying, hey, I'm starting to advertise for People's Fair next year,
Right,
right?
yeah,
Because the goal on this is to make it the Arts and Cultural District signature event, annual signature event.
So just for information, we have
Two funding cycles. One in August, another one in what, February. So coming in on the February funding cycle really gives you enough time to.
Well, and they all did, but we had so many applications, we had to stagger them. And then we had, I think, 2 meetings that we didn't have a quorum, so.
Wait, it took until now, did they give us something in February?
Yes. So the one that you saw last week came in February.
right, that's why.
That was very
The
different.
18 applications, I can't put more than 5 on you guys in a day,
Yeah,
or you'll go bananas on me.
they had it in February, okay.
And so we have to space them out, and then we did have 2 meetings that we didn't have a quorum at, so that delays stuff. So
Okay.
we try to, when all the applications come in a period, we try to take those that happen first, put them on a meeting. If we don't have a quorum, then they go to the next meeting, so we try to do that by the dates, how they come in order.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So maybe, maybe when we do have the windows and the applications, we just do special meetings until they're done. So that way we get them
And they can start
situated so they can
advertising
start.
Right.
So if we're asking them early, but if there's, so many applications, we can't squeeze them to the meetings, we'll just have special meetings until we address them all.
We
Uh,
had specials, so.
Yeah,
Well, good, because that's why we have the 2 cycles to help out with that, so
Good.
And we do have a workshop coming up,
that's the next item.
Thank you.
but I'm looking at the date and I probably need to confirm it, whether it's the 4th or the 11th. I don't remember.
You showed the
11th.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Chair.
August 11th?
I think, I've got the 4th on here.
I think we had a flyer for it, right? We got a PSA for it, I think already. I can't remember. the date.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to confirm what day that,
So next item is other business, lodger's tax pre-application workshop to be held August, confirming the date at 10 a.m. I thought we had said 11th,
Midway was the 11th.
I thought so too, but
11th with the,
how many things,
Oh, gosh, I know you're very good.
because
11th with the application due on the 21st, I think.
that's what you told me, yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, while we look for that, it almost seems that there's not enough events, and if there is, some of them are resetting, restarting, changing locations, doing X, Y, and Z. But really what it boils down to, we really need to get more nonprofits, organizations to start approaching us. We don't want to give the impression that we don't want to market events. We need the events. It helps us in many ways. So it almost seems that we probably need to put together maybe a meeting at some point to start talking to some of these folks, see what their organization might want to do, and that way we can sort of help them with, the marketing piece or whatever else we can help with to start getting some of these dollars, because, COVID did a number on us, followed by the fire and then the flooding, and then the whole idea that everybody's tired because everything just drove us crazy. Well, we almost need to talk to these folks. It almost seems like everybody needs to, come back and find out that we do have dollars for this, and maybe we can start with our help coordinating events that we can help them put together. Is that something that?
Mr. Chair and Board, from what I understood from the finance director is we have spent that backlog of money that we had through COVID. So now we're into the cycle of what comes in fiscal year '26 is what we can spend in fiscal year '27. That was what I was understanding. So we've kind of, that backlog that we did have, we've kind of gone through that. And we had to spend it or we'd lose it to the state. So you guys did a good job of keeping the money local, and that was great.
But I mean, having the conversation now to be clear, right? Because we were able to award some monies in the past because we were spending it. But now that it's getting tighter and tighter, we're also, to me, being put in a position to be tighter and tighter with that. The community's gonna have to understand that too, is that we have less money to put forth, and so we might have more criteria. The good thing about People's Fair to start off with is they've got money, they got this grant, which is great, so we're able to contribute directly to direct marketing. We don't have to help this entity run the event. They've got money. If they need to do other stuff, poster, all this other stuff, they've got money to hold this event, that they're not beholden to money from us to run the event. And so I'd like more and more of those events that hey, we've got enough money to do pure promotion. I know we've come up with different variants of it, but this is what it's for, and it makes it easy. I mean, to me, to us on that, it's an easy pass. We're like, hey, this is marketing and promotion. It's clean. We're presenting it, especially advise it's clean for us, and educating the public on, hey, you need help putting getting this out there, this is what we can do. Come apply, and it'll be clean. Now, if we're trying to figure out how are we gonna pay for certain things to have the event in the first place, then that's we're getting really into incubator stuff, and we're gonna have to decide whether it's worthwhile or not for us. It's something that we could do when we had lots of money, but now it's, hey, should we take this on versus giving somebody else that hasn't even realized it more opportunity to get their message out there for marketing promotion.
Exactly.
I'd like to see more entities up here that come ready with said money. They've already have money set aside to already have that. They know how it's funded. They know so there's no confusion on what Rogers Tax could do for them.
So that's part of what Chairman Martinez implemented with having these workshops. So if they'll come to the workshop, we can guide them and we can help them with
Your application.
what can be paid and the applications. And one of the things that I have pitched and I'm still working on is trying to maybe give them a blank budget as a guide, not necessarily that they have to use what they receive, but to know what they need to include, such as, are you selling tickets? How much are you selling those tickets for, and how many people do you expect? I mean, those are things that we need to take into consideration. Because we're trying to promote, and you've hit the nail on the head that we're to be promoting, and so I think that's the big thing. And working through these workshops, hopefully, we will get them to provide narratives and budgets that are easier for you guys to look at and consider. Because, I mean, you saw the one from the People's Fair that we received and you looked at last meeting, which wasn't helpful to you at all.
Right.
It really was not, so.
And I think
We get into that, the workshop will be on the 11th, correct?
Yes, sir, it is the 11th.
So workshop on the 11th, and the application will be due on the 21st.
That's what you told me, sir.
I think that's what we discussed on.
the application will be due on the 21st. So we can get that out there, because people have called me already.
But I think on the agenda for the workshop, we can make it two parts. One, well, I know you've got the budget that you want to discuss, the budget format. So the actual application, the who, where, what, when, why, kind of.
The narrative, the budget, and then maybe we can put a section in there for some visioning. What you're talking about.
Yeah. One of the things that I've been working on too was more of a questionnaire. Is this a new event? Is it a repeat event? Have you received lodgers tax money in the past? Did you file your 30-day report? that you should be filing? You know, and did you have a profit from last year? Is there any money that your profit is being put into this year's? I just think some information, and do you know how many people attended? Do you have an estimate of overnight stays? Those sort of things that might be helpful to the board also.
On reporting,
So you want to put, you're suggesting the third part too. You have narrative, budget, and reporting,
Yes, sir.
and then some visioning for the future. So that, I mean, we put some ideas, and Mr. Rogers, kind of, you know, you could see him thinking about, you know, well, I could do this, I could do that. So maybe we can do some visioning there with if we get enough people from the organizations, so that they start to partner. I mean, they can actually partner up and make some real comprehensive applications that meet what we'd like to see.
Yeah, and for how Matt was saying, approaching some of these organizations, I mean, there used to be more, you know, I guess, effort, but I mean, there's been, the faces of some of these organizations has changed.
Yeah.
So maybe it's, hey, let's reapproaching, and maybe these new faces with different plans and different planning, we can reapproach them with, hey, this is what the board's looking at. We're looking for you guys to organize in this way. That this is what we're saying. Hey, we want you to organize so multiple events could be you know, advertised at one time, or you guys flow off of each other for timing. So we're not here trying to figure out, hey, is Friday's Al Fresco this last weekend, or is it, or if it is, why isn't it flowing it together into the same event to make them work better?
Mr. Chair, I think I would also add a timing thing, you know. They've got to come in at the right time to get the right funding, because like, you know, we rejected one today because it's too short. And, you know, there's virtually, unless that billboard's up, there's no time to buy another one. It's virtually almost
Right,
impossible.
and it was an event that was non-repeating.
Yeah.
At least for People's Fair, it's been, you know, something that we've had and we could keep building off of.
So we need to put like maybe a time thing, you know, like if you're trying to do X, Y, or Z, you need at least 3 months heads up on X, Y, and Z. If it's a big event that's gonna involve a whole bunch of planning and a lot of moving parts, maybe we need 6 months.
And we need to be diligent. We'll have to have specials. We need to be diligent when the applications come in and start to.
And I think Mr. Martinez, Mr. Matt Martinez had asked a special in April, I was thinking, but the board decided no. And then we moved on specials after that. I think we'd had a meeting in April and he wanted to have one another right away, but
Yeah, well, maybe it was a scheduling thing.
it might have
And
been.
then we also had a change in board members, so.
And so it makes it harder now that I have 4 of you, I have to have 3 of you here.
In a way, I think it may be easier.
It may be.
With the smaller board, yeah, it may be easier. Maybe we could be more committed to just churning them out as they come. So we're not the ones impeding anything. So I'll definitely try to stay committed to doing that. But I certainly think we could probably do better. Look, it doesn't look like that the organization was quite ready to take on a marketing effort in February. I know they did the application at the last one, I'm not talking about it, but some are. But certainly anybody shouldn't be waiting from, now we're almost, we're days away from August
We agree.
for it. So I think we should be able to figure it out as a board. I'm hoping that we're able to have consistency on the board and stay clean. I think there's a lot of work we could get done. I think we have, so.
But they also changed people too, right? They don't, the same person that made the proposals wasn't no longer around.
That was gonna be the tough part, yeah, about that one.
Yeah.
I think he helped the cause, cause this was like the most concrete portion of all of this that's happened. But that's also goes along, it seems like all the organizations, there's faces that are,
They're moving over.
yeah, there's turnover and hopefully, we don't want them to go away. We're just hoping that there's a new set of individuals to take it on.
Anything,
I've got, just while we're in new business, just a suggestion, these questions come up and we have those questions, that my suggestion for, at least for regular larger meetings or so on, if we're specifically talking about event funding, that the event coordinator is here. And we have those requests for it, so.
The event coordinator is on vacation. He was on vacation last week and this week.
Okay, so that's the reasoning, right?
Yeah, because it
Just
would have
so
been
I'm not-
nice, it would have been nice to have him here. If he fell on vacation, too bad, especially when we're talking about the
Traffic.
traffic
Yeah.
and, because it seems like they've been talking about the event plan already.
So
It'd be good to have him here, and also,
My personal opinion is they need to make sure that there's a way for people to get to and from the train station. And if somebody's leaving to go out of town, that there is a parking space for them to leave their vehicle for a few days. They have to go into the visitor center and fill out a information form to park it there. So if something happens or the car sits there for too long of a period, if they say they'll be back in 3 days and it's been a week, that we notify PD or something.
So,
But I just want to make sure that there is room. We don't want that to tarnish our city, is that, oh, I couldn't get to the train station. I missed my train because the roads were closed. I couldn't get there. I just don't want that coming back on us.
is that, I mean, as far as, because it's Amtrak for the station, or is the station itself Las
Amtrak
Vegas?
picks up there. The city owns the building, the city owns the parking lot. We have nothing really to do with Amtrak, but it is a courtesy from the city of Las Vegas
Okay.
that people are allowed to come in and sit in the visitor center until the train gets there. Because sometimes the train's delayed for hours, and it's not
Yeah, I
Amtrak's
just
fault.
want to make sure we weren't like violating, or there possibly to violate a federal
No,
railroad.
no, we're not, but that's our courtesy, is to
Yeah.
provide that.
So I kind of listened, and my understanding is that they're gonna have vendors in the parking lot of the train station. I don't think that's advisable, especially if you're gonna have people coming in and out. I thought they were gonna use both the north and south side of Railroad Avenue between Jackson and Douglas.
Right. They would probably need to leave Railroad open up into Carolyn Chavez's property, since there are tenants in the apartments upstairs. I mean, and they park on the street there. But, I mean, we need to make sure, just like your building, that people have access to it.
Well, we could advise them that for this day, you need to park in the back.
Right. As long
And
as
that would
somebody
cut
else
down
doesn't
on
park in
people
your
parking.
space.
Yeah.
Scott, why don't you call me, if it's okay with the board, call me in and I can make sure that, I can look at the permit application.
Okay.
And we can sit down with Chuck and make sure that
So
those concerns
It-
are.
Yeah.
if we wanted this event to grow, right, really
You would use
grow,
both areas.
is that still the right location to have something that would
I think it's good to bring people down to Railroad.
yeah, no, of course.
To
but-
revitalize that area. I know I was informed last night that Mr. Grimm has leased his building that he just remodeled there. That came from David, because Main Street has been gifted some really nice photographs. And I suggested that they get displayed, asked Mr. Grimm if we could utilize that building to do a display and maybe have just kind of a little reception or something before they get put somewhere else. It's 52 photographs of Las Vegas, but the requirement is that whenever they're displayed, all 52 have to be displayed in the same property. They cannot be split up. And so I just thought it'd be neat to put it in some place like that was, to begin with,
It's
not a
empty.
business, just have everybody be able to come in and see them if they wanted to before they get put somewhere.
That's a chamber after hours event, looks like.
Yeah, it would have been something like that, but I was told that Mr. Grimm had leased the building, so I wasn't gonna approach him. So
Getting back
we'll
to the-
see, we'll see what goes in there. We've not received a business application on that property yet.
Getting back to the permit, I'm not sure that blocking Lincoln at the alley is a wise.
wisest because it's such a narrow alley back and forth.
You may have some traffic jams, so.
That's why I'd like to sit down and look at that.
Yeah, and so, I mean, but, like Mrs. Clayton said, that, they do have parking in the back of their building, which is accessed by that. alley.
Almost all of the buildings have
Yeah.
parking.
So we don't want to cut
And every
them off.
weekend is such a problem because whenever Buffalo Hall
That's what I
is
was-
packed,
how
they
is it
park in
working?
everybody's private property.
Driveway and all.
Yes,
There's not enough parking currently
Yeah,
Yes.
there's not.
for a big event.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure the alley is the best access,
me too.
I don't
In and
know.
out for that.
That's,
So that's why, just call me whenever you have the permit, and we'll look at that, and
I'm sure the permits.
Well, I'm certainly aiming for the change of venue, starting off smaller maybe is a better,
Yes.
they would be able to examine it, now that it's a one-day event to see just how that went and,
And the other thing is we need to make sure, where he was talking about the restrooms, they cannot block the fire access for the train station, for the fire department to hook up to the sprinklers.
Wow.
We just,
Mr.
lots
Chair.
of things to think about with the venue.
Mr. Chair,
having office there for a year, all of this comes to my
Well,
mind.
and maybe it'll help for future events too. We could use this example of, okay, if we want to be more active there, we're gonna learn a lot from this event, right?
So, I'm even also thinking that there may have to be a design review team of all the city directors to go over the layout. Because my concerns would be AMR, fire, police. We need to make sure that there's access is there for them. So I don't know if any of that's been discussed, so.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask you and Scott to possibly let me know, and I'll work on some times and maybe get you guys on the air station to get, just before the workshop, to let people know about that. I think both of you guys probably bring some pretty good insight. So if you don't mind, I'd like to, I'll email you guys on some dates, if that works. Okay?
Alright, before the 11th.
Yeah.
With that,
anything else? A motion to adjourn?
I so move.
I'll second.
Motion to adjourn, there's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.